Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for episode 5 of the Frankly Speaking podcast, video thing, webinar, whatever this thing is.
We're just talking. We're just two guys talking today.
We're hanging. We're just a couple Franks, right? So, with that, you are here talking to the Franks. My name is Frank Gurnee, and this is Frank Raimondi with me. Say hi, Frank.
Good afternoon.
And yeah, we have a fantastic episode for you guys today. So with episode 5, we are going to be talking about cloud marketplaces and all kinds of fun stuff around cloud and I don't know, marketplace stuff and all this interesting kind of things that you can be doing to increase revenue in your business. And some of these things are kind of unknown or really scary to some people, I think. Don't you say?
Yeah, no, we've seen that a lot, and it shows and things, and it sort of seems like it. I think a lot of people think it's reserved for the really big guys and really big partners, and not quote a normal or an MSP audience or any of that. So yeah, hopefully we can address some. We got a couple great guest speakers to kind of bring it to reality and bring it to ways that you can get involved. So looking forward to
that. Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, we always like to open. I mean, there's been a lot going on in the industry here the last I don't know, couple months. Anything you've been seeing out there, Frank, that just kind of has caught your attention in the MSP space? I know we went to Robbins recently, and you were at the kind of Central Mafia
user group. Yeah, no, a lot of I think the general play, it seems to be still pretty heavy on compliance as a big interest. Right? We had that topic a couple months ago, which was really well received and great content. And I don't know where it's at yet. I think there's still sort of the pendulum is moving that the big RMM tools, the ConnectWise and Kaseya's, and then you've got the Ninja ones and Halos that are kind of becoming alternatives, and there's a lot of back and forth still. I think that's kind of an interesting process, and some of it's contractual, some of it's just I need a better tool to do this or that, and so that I'm hearing mixed signals. I think this is going to be an interesting year ahead of the of where MSPs really want to drive, and what tools they do they go for the all-in-one, or did they go for the custom bespoke, or did they go hybrid, mixer? So that might be a good topic in the next month or two, I think, is to explore that and, have some counterpoint discussion about it. So.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and it's interesting to me, like that one, obviously, we're seeing just tons of new cyber vendors coming in day after day, right? So cyber just is this huge thing, but this idea of kind of like the single pane of glass is still out there, right? And the fact with that, and I keep telling people, is like, you can strive for that single pane of glass. The problem is that as these larger companies buy up smaller companies to try to integrate and create this single pane of glass, things get neglected. This service is only so good, and what you end up with is a whole bunch of things in a single pane that are so okay, maybe not the best. Exactly. And I think again, this may be a topic
haven't improved with age, right? I mean, they're kind of stuck in their acquisition mode of the product.
Yeah, or just neglecting certain aspects or letting go of staff, and those companies get kind of like forgotten or whatever. So you're still gonna see, I think you're gonna see your best in breed with the solutions that are singular, in the stack, and that you really do what they do well, and that's one of the things that I think you want to look for, not necessarily someone who's trying to bring everything together, because you're getting neglected there. So with all that being said, I mean, we have a great topic this week.
And let's get into it.
It's exciting because it's kind of outside of our typical cyber talks and compliance and all this stuff, where marketplace to me fits in like marketing, and it fits in like building more additional revenue streams and all of that stuff. So with that, we have a couple of fantastic guests today from TD SYNNEX. We have Marcie Stout, who's the VP of Cloud Marketplace at NISV at TD SYNNEX, and we have Anna Anna didn't ask you how to pronounce your last
Duque.
name. Duque, all right. So who's a business development representative for AWS and TD SYNNEX. Hi guys, are you there? You can bring your screens up if you would like at this point. Hey, there's one.
I did do it right, Anna, right? I did pronounce it correctly.
Yes,
Oh,
it's French. You said it right, Duque. Thank you so
Oh,
much
okay,
for
so
that.
It helps, Anna, when you just have
right
a
in the,
Stout last name. Like,
yeah,
it's
that's
super.
easy.
that one's easy. I was gonna say you can fit right, Anna. You could fit right in the Louisiana area, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, I guess a little bit. I actually did meet someone in Louisiana, and their last name was Duquesne, and it's spelled just like mine. It's just with the SNE.
oh
Yeah.
wow, okay.
And they probably pronounce it Duquesne or something like that, I think, isn't it? Anyway.
Duquesne is how they spelled it. So
Oh,
it's
they
like
pronounce
my
it.
name.
Okay.
Yeah, and then SNE, Duquesne.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I know this is a very interesting topic, and I'm sure super interesting to you guys being the experts in this side of things. You know, our title for today was turning cloud marketplaces into a growth opportunity or engine for your MSP. So with that, I'd love to hear about what you guys think that means. What is this marketplace thing? What is, you know, selling cloud services? How do people get into this? What's the what does all this mean for someone knowing, you know, what I know about SYNNEX is being a distributor and providing hardware. That's what I knew, you know, and now there's so much more to the organization. So I'd love to hear from you guys what that means to you.
Yeah, so you know, as distributors, we definitely try to grow with where technology leads and the market leads. I think that as the industry changes, distribution definitely tries to play a part in all the different areas that we grow in. So, you know, when the cloud business came to be, TD SYNNEX started participating in the cloud business. Now there's cloud marketplace within that and so many other things like migrations, workloads. So, what I see that, you know, marketplace has done is that it's kind of brought in two worlds. We have, you know, software vendors and many things that you can purchase through the marketplace kind of merging with the cloud world. And as you were saying, like, you know, what does this mean for an MSP of different sizes? You know, now we're seeing MSPs that maybe only worked in the cloud or maybe only worked in software, kind of having those two worlds merge and work together. So that's
Yeah, I think that might be the biggest sort of confusion point, right? Or sort of sticking point in a lot of people's minds. And Marcie, I don't know, maybe you kind of got the cloud and the marketplace sort of in the realm. Maybe you can kind of describe a little bit what you're seeing there from a inhibition standpoint or lack of inhibition.
Well, we reference the MSPs a lot, right? And it's definitely a change in the market. Really, marketplaces, it's an online storefront where customers can purchase. I think where the tremendous amount of growth and where we need to change the perception is really truly with the MSP market. Granted, yes, the ISVs and VARs have a great opportunity as well. But when you look at the marketplace, there is a lot of different motions, there's still a lot of confusion on the different opportunities, the different offerings. How do I go to market? You know, what are cloud commits? How do I talk to my end customers about that? And that's where TD SYNNEX can really help you guys and help the resellers, help the ISVs work through those processes and get them to understand how to grow their business. There's a couple different factors here that I always like to call out, especially for our reseller and MSP community. It's really enabling service transformation. So when you look at marketplace as a whole, it's a vast catalog, right, of foundational technologies. And for the MSPs, it's really turning those technologies into robust, customized, managed services. That is key. That's what the MSPs do. And this is where the growth opportunity comes in for them, whether it's cybersecurity, cloud optimization, AI-driven solutions. They go in, they streamline all of the operations, right? As we know, we have 5 different vendor portals. For us, TD SYNNEX Stream 1 actually gives that centralized management, allowing our MSPs and VARs to easily bundle all the marketplace products. So they own the services, but we're creating single clear invoices for the end customers. And then and there's a few different areas, enhancing the client's needs, right? So it's more than just software anymore. It's how do I integrate it? How do I leverage it? How do I manage my costs? And our MSPs, they're crucial for this, for the advisory to these end customers on how to, this is a key thing you guys are going to hear me say over and over again, is utilizing the cloud commits. What are we asking our customers? Are we going through, how many cloud commits do you have? There's actually specific set of questions that we run through with the ISVs and the VARs to make sure that we're asking the end customers this, and this is kind of the guidance out to the channel that helps them grow the business. They may need a different software provider, different ISV, different private offer, but it's, does your customer, everybody needs to start thinking this way. Does the customer have an existing commit with the hyperscaler?
So okay. Marcie, maybe just because we're going to talk about a lot, let's just refine that a little bit or define that a little bit further in terms of who typically has that cloud commit. What's their, why do they have a cloud commit, and what have they normally been doing with it, and what do you guys provide that gives them an alternative for to keep engaged?
So that's perfect. We actually have an entire guide on how to work with the end customers on the cloud commit. So it's an end customer cloud commit that they've committed to whoever the hyperscaler is on what they're going to commit to for usage that year. If they don't meet that commit, it's not a fun check that they're going to have to write, right? And so each hyperscaler actually has a set of ISVs that they strategically work with that help burn down the cloud commits for the end customer. So as the reseller, MSP, working with the end customer, they would go through the cloud commits, and then what we can help them do is analyze, the solutions that they currently have, what can we add on, if it's security, vulnerability, whatever it may be, to actually burn down those cloud commits for them. So it's an upsell for them, and then from the MSP perspective, that's where they can layer in the services capabilities.
And again, typically that cloud commit is processed without the partner or the MSP, anybody being involved so they have the potential to just lose that business completely otherwise.
Correct. That's why, yes, 100%. That's why the resellers need to be asking these questions. What are your cloud commits? Are you authorized? Who are you authorized with as a hyperscaler? Do you know much how it can be drawn down? Like that, yes, 100%, they can potentially just lose that business.
Gotcha. And that's what when we started moving with TD SYNNEX for a long time, but the last 6-8 months, we kind of looked at how do we get Nodeware available on here, right? How do we enable that cloud commit to be used, or just, somebody really interested in building a marketplace, how do they get engaged? And that was sort of the, like, holy mackerel, that's a potential huge loss for an account, right? Once they start buying somewhere else, and maybe they might be paying more, but the MSP or the partner is just losing that business, and then the dam starts. There's a crack in the dam, and who knows where it goes after that. Right?
Really, yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to be able to win all facets of the customer's like cloud business, and also dip into new businesses, and that's kind of what we offer here, is to teach those MSPs, and they can use all of our services as their own. We want them to win all facets of their customer's cloud business, and it's like use ours, use as your own, so you can be that one-stop shop for your customers.
Yeah, so that document, Marcie, and to the listeners here and registrants, we'll be sending that out as a resource following up. I guess, and Frank, excuse me, I was going to kind of ask the next follow-up here. Again, kind of the questions we had ahead of time is, are there really, what's a barrier for a normal MSP? And I guess part of this document will address that, but maybe explain a little bit more. Are there minimums? Is a lot of, set up things to do just to even get started, and to say that, hey, I have my marketplace, buy my products here?
Yeah, so there are a couple when it comes through like the all three cloud hyperscalers. So like when it comes to AWS Marketplace, who's kind of the leader in all things cloud, especially all things cloud marketplace. For AWS, they're very multi-partner friendly. They say, you know, any facet of the cloud business, it's anyone's game. And you don't even have to be an AWS services resale partner to participate in the marketplace. If you want to do just marketplace, they have a separate marketplace account. All you need is your bank account and a tax ID so that they know where to pay you for the transactions that you participate in. So that's pretty awesome. For the other two hyperscalers, the only thing that is required is that you be one, like you be a resale partner of theirs, like a Google Cloud resale partner or an Azure partner. However, they don't require you to be like at a certain tier within their tier progression models. So basically you just need to be registered. And that's something that you can definitely reach out to TD SYNNEX to help you out with. We can get you set up and registered so that you can sell to that end customer, even if you don't do anything with that cloud provider. So those are the only barriers. And then let's say, for example, if your customer needs a product from a vendor that has a partner program, usually the requirement to be part of that partner program doesn't go away just because they have to purchase through the marketplace. Another reason why you could reach out to us, because we can help you get set up, even if it's just a one-off. Maybe you're not really sure if you want to join a partner program or not. We know how to get you set up with those vendors and get that transaction rolling for you. So nothing that's really required. The only thing that is different from AWS to the other two, apart from that there is a separate marketplace account, you can join whether you have an AWS resale account or not, is that usually, like for Google Cloud, they do have a requirement on who owns the commitment. So, you know, MSPs can only sell to either commitments that they own or commitments that go direct, which most commitments do go direct with Google Cloud. And then for Azure, it doesn't fall, the requirement doesn't fall on the commitment, but rather on the consumption. So if the customer is buying the consumption from you, they can buy from you, or if they're going direct. So that's kind of a little bit of a barrier to AWS. Maybe it's one of the reasons why they're the leader, because they're kind of, it's anyone's game for anything. And that's kind of why we push so hard on letting marketplace open new doors for you, right? Like if you help the customer sell, like buy something through the marketplace, you know, have that conversation where you're getting your consumption, who negotiated your commitment. You know, we can help in all areas. Are you planning a workload? Are you getting like so many things that we can help out with? So, and it already has, we're already seeing that story being told.
Yeah.
So
Is there a lot of difference, you know, again, I'm doing my normal business, I'm selling a contract, you know, I've got, you know, maybe like a security stack, right? A cybersecurity stack that's got 4 pieces to it. Today, I would buy individually licensed from the vendors through you, or however they're acquiring it, and offer as a single package to an end user. Does involving either Stream One or a marketplace change how they sell or how they transact tactically?
So from like a vendor agreement, are you going to the vendor agreements, like
Well,
how that?
yeah, partly the vendor. I mean, I think that would still stay the same, but I'm thinking more the positioning of the partner to his end user. Because if he's buying it, if he's transacting through AWS or whatever, is it a point product at a time, or can they sell all of them together? Or
So do you want to take that, Anna?
for multiple vendors, you're referring, Frank?
yeah.
So if it's coming from multiple vendors, so I want to address first, like, because I know a concern for a lot of MSPs is, does this affect my like agreements with my vendors, my registration with partner programs and things like that? For most vendors, it doesn't, like, and at least like if you go through distribution, we try to make it work like a standard distribution order. It's almost just a little bit more automated and streamlined, which is really nice because the transaction is happening through the marketplaces rather than like a traditional PO invoice flow, right? That we're used to. So it actually is easier for the end customer, easier for our partners. But we still kind of, we try to make at least quoting flow as it normally would, So we'll still reach out to the vendor if the partner or the MSP is participating in a partner program with the vendor. They're still getting recognition from the vendor as a sale. They're still being recognized as the reseller for that product. And then also same with the hyperscalers, they still recognize that as an opportunity within their own like deal registration systems. Like in AWS, you have the ACE system, Azure and Google, they also have that actually helps them progress tiers as a cloud partner. They still get recognition on that, so that they'll still get recognition within the partner programs that they participate in with the hyperscaler and the software vendor. And then also and then to address your other question on like a co-sell motion, like in Stream One, you can kind of package things and sell multiple products to one customer. So if that needed to happen currently on the marketplace, currently none of the hyperscalers offer like a co-sell motion between multiple vendors. It is something that they're all currently working on. And then also on our end, we're also working on integration between Stream One and the 3 hyperscalers so that you can basically we not only be able to see all the products that we offer through the different hyperscalers, but also be able to do everything procurement through Stream One. And then as soon as like the co-sell motion is enabled for the 3 hyperscalers, likely we'll work on something as well where you can package everything up, and we can get you from, clicking on products in Stream One and to get a private offer out to your end customer. So it's coming. I know that for AWS, that's something that they want, 2025 co-sell motions. So many vendors are, have so many products that work really well with another vendor.
We're a piece of a sale typically, right? Of a stack. So,
but and to address like a final concern with that is that a lot of MSPs have services that they like to bundle with a lot of software vendors. Like they'll be like, I can help you integrate these licenses and help you set up the infrastructure for this. There's so many different services that work with that. So that's kind of how they can really leverage the marketplaces, because they used to really just be SaaS only. And now we're seeing machine learning products, AI products, professional services. That's where the MSPs are kind of listing their products on there, letting customers know that they can help them out with some of the software products that they purchased. Currently, it happens as different transactions. Sometimes here at TD SYNNEX, we'll still present it as a bundle, but unfortunately, the end customer still has to go in and accept individual private offers. But the future is kind of like how you're seeing it and how everyone would like to see it, is that we would be able to do co-sell motions as we usually would.
Good. Okay.
Now, what I was wanting to do is maybe take it back a little bit too, like, and maybe this, Marcie or Anna, you can help us out with this. Like, so I want to understand, traditionally MSPs have sold into the SMB space mostly, and then it's kind of grown over time. But thinking about it from that perspective, online marketplaces in themselves have been tried in a number of times in the past, like on an MSP's website, and traditionally that was selling, laptops or hardware or this or that, whatever it was. And the hard part was that, the MSP in itself was always considered the trusted advisor. They were making those decisions for their clients. And so they weren't necessarily looking for their client to go to a website to, pick the things that they needed, right? So when did that change, and what is it? Is it a different client base for them? Meaning like they're able to now sell to a larger client that has these needs, that just wants to jump on and make these decisions themselves, or is there something else? Can you guys explain that part to me?
Yeah. I'm Marcie. You want to jump in?
I can jump in. So from the enterprise perspective, I definitely think there's more opportunity for them, right, to be the trusted advisor. And I've seen the change over the last year with marketplace coming into play. And I think that's where we keep going back to, like, we have to be in front of the end customers, because as a consumer, my normal reaction is I'm going to go online and just order it. And, Frank, you said it earlier, like whatever the price is, the price. And that's where I say, like, for us, helping the MSPs, helping the resellers, we have to be in front of it. We have to think of the renewals. We have to expand our portfolios. That's a big one. You mentioned just having laptops, hardware, and they always wrap the services around it. We're in a different motion. I can definitely say, and just looking at it over the past few years, AI is finally hitting, right? So there's a whole other level of services that we're seeing and programs and software. So I think the MSP market does need to look at different enterprises. I think the value with the state of where the market is in today is going to change a lot for the MSPs, not just maintaining all the SMB markets. I think the other piece is for us holistically, you know, from a distribution perspective, from a reseller perspective, we have to get confident in solution selection, right? We said, you know, for MSPs, it was generally that they were selecting what these SMB markets needed. This is a different motion now. We're talking about cybersecurity bundled, you know, with the Microsoft pieces. So it's a whole different way to look at how we're going to market, adding AI on it. Where's my security with that? So I think it's a buildup of our MSPs as far as education, as well as ourselves. I will say distribution too. It's an education factor on how we're going to market with this. So, but I do think there's a lot more opportunity within the enterprise spaces. I think they're going to be more dependent on the resellers to really guide them through what is needed, not only from the marketplace perspective, but from an AI perspective as well.
Well, I don't think and I don't think it hurts to have all of these different avenues, right? I mean, the reality is, if I put it on my website and it's there and available for someone to find, whether I'm marketing it or not, and they find me and they purchase something through that, you know, that could create additional opportunities for the MSP to sell other services that maybe they traditionally provide in their.
There is kind of the dual approach, right? It kind of said there's people that are going to find them and say, oh, I can marketplace hire. I've heard of Gurnee's computers, yeah, and services. I'll check out the website. Oh, I can buy it. Boom, process. And then so that's sort of the inbound, if you will, and the outbound for an MSP is to say, hey, you know, what works for you, right? Kind of to your point, Marcie, you know, do you have a burn down you need to work on, right? And play it that way. So, you know, it just fundamentally, right? If nothing else, it's an additional way to market yourself as a partner, as an MSP.
Yeah, honestly,
and you guys are providing the tools to make that easy, and that's where I think people don't understand how simple. I won't say it's easy 1, 2, 3, but it's simplified, and you guys do a lot of the work for them.
Yeah, and honestly, like the way that it kind of came to be, you know, Marketplace was created to provide a catalog of SaaS products that were already built on that hyperscaler's infrastructure, right? That's the way that it first came to be, and truthfully, when it first came to be, it's a huge threat to the channel overall, because like you said, like Marcie was saying, I could just click and buy it, right? Well, the price is a price. But over time, it was our customers and our vendors that kind of advocated for the channel. Not everything, especially in the software world, cannot just be done by clicking a product and adding it to your account. Like, there are so many products that need to have, you know, that's why MSPs play such a huge role, because I mean, they offer services for implementing configuration that have to be added in. It's not just that simple. So it was the customers and the vendors that kind of advocated to the hyperscalers and said, hey, I'm used to buying it through this reseller. They configure this and they provide me this service when I buy that product. And it was the vendors too saying, I have a lot of products I could list on this marketplace. Some I already have built in your infrastructure, but I can't list them on there because this isn't like, you know, Amazon.com. It is made by Amazon, but it's not Amazon.com. But so then the story kind of changed, and then we started saying, you know, private offers came to be, and then distribution started being allowed to be a part of this. And then, you know, we started to see the story kind of change, and the hyperscaler started seeing the power in the channel, especially because we are involved in so many areas, not just selling a license through this marketplace. You know, we're also providing cloud services. We're also helping sign a lot of those commitments. We're helping get migrations to the cloud and bringing more consumption to the cloud and all of that. So they started seeing the power and how they could scale with us. And we also kind of had to prove ourselves, the channel, not just distribution, everyone, services, partners, resellers, had to kind of prove themselves. And we have, and that's kind of of why Marketplace has grown so much. It's been exponential for everyone, the growth. So it's been a big boom. Customer demand is a huge reason why we're seeing that move. It's because they're signing those commitments. They need to purchase through there. And we want to be where our customers are. We're being more proactive than we are reactive. We still have a long way to go. That I say that overall for everyone involved in the channel. And that's kind of the role that we're trying to say, okay, now we've figured it out. We see the role that we play. We know that we can help them in all areas. Let's be proactive. Let's get you set up on the marketplace. Be knowledgeable. You know, if you don't know anything about software, let's get you learning about what may be good solutions for your customers. Look into what are they already hosting in their environment, and we could definitely send out a list of questions that are good for MSPs to be asking their customers. And then let's get you more involved. And yeah, that's how we've been able to grow. That's why it's predicted.
Along those lines, so one sort of tactical thing, I guess, or just definitional, I think you've talked about them both, and I want to just have you clarify, you know, sort of Stream One versus the marketplaces and the hyperscalers. So maybe, I don't know, Marcie or Anna, whoever can kind of describe what, you know, what's on what and where do they connect? Because that's a bit confusing still to us as a vendor.
So we're like, you got it.
Yeah. So Stream One is TD SYNNEX's marketplace. That's where you can basically see like almost everything that you can procure through us, everything that we have to offer. And then the hyperscaler marketplaces are those are those SaaS catalogs that are, well, they originally were created as SaaS catalogs, but now they have more offering on there that basically have products that cloud customers can buy that are already built and deployed on AWS. So they are separate. The thing is that with Stream One, it's that conjunction of everything that you can get through distribution. I kind of mentioned a little bit on how we're working on integration between the two, because obviously futures, hence, you know, you can already go on Stream One and package solutions on there for your customer. But currently with Marketplace, all we have for Stream One, or not really all we have, but what we've already been working on is basically letting all of our MSPs know what our capabilities are in the AWS marketplace, who are the vendors that we're already selling on there and having great success with, what the processes are. And then eventually what we'll have is integration between that marketplace and the 3 different hyperscaler marketplaces, so that you can go on, you can go from just browsing products to having a private offer created in one of those hyperscaler marketplaces. So kind of the difference.
Is Stream One kind of the starting point then, really, for most people if they haven't done any kind of thing? I mean, it's easy because it has every product that you have, right?
Yeah, so for North America, like if you look at Stream One, like to that point what Anna was referencing, I could go in there as MSP or a reseller, and I could see, oh, buy with AWS. So my thought is I'm buying through AWS's marketplace, right? Or Google or Microsoft, whichever hyperscaler you're looking through. And then we also have a true TDS marketplace, meaning we're purchasing just an ISV's product, not going through the marketplace. So that functionality of being fully connected with like a syndication, right? Syndication, you can do that through Azure today with our marketplace. There are some ISVs available there that have been syndicated where a reseller, or excuse me, an end customer could come through, you know, Azure's marketplace and select TD SYNNEX. So to Anna's point, it's all kind of in motion getting created to make it streamlined, where if you're in any hyperscaler marketplace, you can say, hey, I'm going to create a private offer with TD SYNNEX. It comes to us. But right now it's depending on where they're coming in at and how it gets to us. If they come into Stream One, we have the buy with AWS, buy with Azure, that they can click in and see all the different offers. And you got to remember too, there's different offers, right? DSOR, there's different ways to go to market as well. Yeah. So that's where our value honestly really comes in as well, for like with Anna and team, like explaining like which route are you actually going. And I think right now the goal is to really handhold a lot of the MSPs, the resellers, to walk them through these opportunities to really build the confidence and the understanding as well. But I would say from a platform perspective, it's on both right now. And the goal with the hyperscalers and ISVs and distribution is to get that completely streamlined, whether it's coming in from an end customer request or it's coming in from a reseller request.
Yeah. Well,
Are you
one of
guys
the things, oh, go ahead, Frank.
Well, I was gonna ask, are you seeing MSPs utilize this type of solution from a marketing standpoint? Meaning, are they putting this up and then able to see folks placing orders, contact them and reach out and talk about other services that they can provide or help them with on top of this? Do they get access to things like if a cart is left where they can call the folks and things like that? So do they have access to use this as a kind of a marketing tool? Is my question.
Yes, and they are using it in several ways. So with Stream One Marketplace, we do have the capability of having like a white labeled storefront. So basically, instead of you going on there, you could have your customer going on there. You could label it as if it was your own marketplace with all of the solutions that we offer, and basically have them go in, and they can get like impressions and things like that. And then they also use the hyperscaler marketplaces. Like, let's say, for example, if a MSP has services offerings, they are able to list them on the various different hyperscaler marketplaces to kind of get their name out there. They can be searchable. Let's say, for example, like they offer one of those configuration services with the software license. When somebody looks up that software license, they're also going to see the services partners that offer some of those services applied with that. So that's another way that they've been. And then another way that we've seen, marketplace really being marketed by a lot of our MSPs is when they've been leveraging like the DSOR program through distribution and kind of taking advantage of, our value, our pricing on a lot of our vendor solutions, is that we're already seeing them advertise, through their sites, through their channels, that they can offer lower rates for certain solutions, because lots of what's listed on the hyperscaler marketplaces is listed at retail MSRP pricing. So they're kind of letting them know, oh, you have to buy this through the marketplace. They can't do that internally within the marketplace, but they'll do it outside through their own sites, their own lines of marketing. So just kind of letting them know that they're able to service them in more ways than one.
You were just kind of leading me into it, where I was thinking of wanting to clarify just in terms of a private offer, right? That's another big element of this, right? So you think about it, a normal end user would go to Marketplace or Amazon.com, or wherever, but let's just say within the marketplace, and they're looking for a node where they want to buy a license subscription. It's listed there as the normal full list price, right? And so that's obviously a lot more than they are probably going to buy it from if they were from an MSP. So what the process here allows is for the MSP to come to us via you to get a private offer, right? Basically the wholesale cost, right? And then he can mark it up, and then he tells, let's say it's normally listed at $750. Hey, Mr. Customer, I've got it listed on here for AWS at $650. You're gonna get the software and the services that go with it. Here's the order place to go place that order. So that's, maybe you can expand. I might probably miss something in there, but I think that's the opportunity again for the MSP to not fear that they're going to be, way undersold, or way, their costs are going to be a lot higher. We as the vendor, TD SYNNEX as the remarketer of that, the DSOR, the designated seller of record, can offer that at a good price and still hit that burn down and all the rest of those factors.
Yes, that's correct. So whether the customer works through a channel partner or not, as long as they're purchasing it on the marketplace, it still counts towards their PPA commitment or any burn down commitment that they have with any of the hyperscalers. So it's kind of an advantage that you have. Now, they don't allow us to list on there and show that we're offering it at a lower price. And truthfully, that's not of our interest. We let our network of, our hundreds of thousands partners globally know what our capabilities are through our channel, through our network. They also let their end customers know through their different methods of, and we show that power on how we can scale that business outside of the marketplace. And that's what we want to show, is that we're able to, you're still able to procure this through your preferred channel partner. Lots of our customers, say, I always go to so-and-so for all my questions on the cloud. They have helped me with migrations. They have helped me with different workloads, OLAs. They have helped me bring two accounts together and merge different things. And they're like, oh, I always buy this license through them and things like that. Yes, you can continue doing that. You can continue doing that through the marketplace. It will still count towards your commitment. They can continue helping you in all facets of anything you need within the cloud. So
yeah, good.
What would you say your most successful partners are doing to kind of make all of this work, right? So like not only bring together their traditional kind of MSP stuff that they're doing, but bringing this new kind of cloud marketplace and allowing their clients to utilize that. How do you think they're deploying this and making it all work and happen? Is there some kind of magic button?
The magic step recipe, right?
Right.
Magic button.
I would say our most successful services partners are those that are trying to be proactive and looking to win, like I said, all facets of the cloud business, asking open-ended questions, looking into what is more beneficial to the customer? What are they already hosting in their cloud environments that would make sense to now buy it through the marketplace? Also looking into how to service them better. We have partners that have customers with huge cloud accounts. They're on commitments and all of that. They lack cybersecurity products like terribly, like their cloud is not protected. And so we tell them you need to advise them on products they should buy. Does it also make sense to then buy it on the marketplace because they have those commitments? Just looking into all facets, and then vice versa. Also, if you don't own a customer's cloud account, maybe you don't have insight into what they're purchasing, but maybe you get in and letting them and getting in by helping them purchase something through the marketplace. Then also servicing them on their consumption, on anything else they may be working on within their cloud account, how they plan to grow within their cloud journey. It's all about being proactive because this is all new, just like it's new for us. Even the customers that are joining these commitments are still kind of in the gray on how they work. We also want partners, if they own the commitments or they helped a customer with the marketplace purchase, ask them, are you on track to hit that commitment? Because as Marcie said, if they don't hit that commitment, that's not going to be a fun conversation for them to have with the hyperscaler at the end of the year. The hyperscalers also assign reps to the customers to make sure that they are on track for hitting those commitments. So you tend to be large enterprise customers that sign up for those commitments. And then the reps are also equally compensated for anything that goes through that cloud account. So work with that rep because their compensation is the same whether you're involved or we're involved. Like they get compensated no matter what. So it's in their best interest to help deals make it to the finish line and to shift purchases towards going through their marketplaces rather than outside of the marketplace. So work with the reps that account is assigned to, be proactive, ask the questions, and then use it to either gain more business, or if you already have some of their cloud business, look into if you can win some of the purchases that they may need to make through the marketplace. And that could be, we're already seeing that it's an in, and once they trust you with one thing, they're going to come to you for another. They may have something else coming up. When that commitment it expires. Most of them are for a year, but some of them are multi-year. But most of them right now are for a year as they're starting to become more popular. It's going to need to be renewed. You could be the partner negotiating that commitment with the hyperscaler next year. It can open the door to so many areas of the business. So
that's the interesting part of it, just that it opens that door up to additional kind of these
revenue streams
areas that they haven't been able to sell into, right? Because the large and enterprise business is not a space that the MSP has been in mostly. So, but if it opens the door and provides that ability to start selling into that space, I mean, that could be a huge revenue growth for an MSP. So
yeah, that's perfect, because I was actually going to flip that, right? What Anna just said. So like opening that door. So you have, let's say, a traditional security reseller, right? Not really playing in the cloud. Where we're also seeing success is those resellers really working hand in hand with the vendors that they're authorized for today. And I'm just going to stick with security because that's the biggest topic right now with right, and actually looking at their end customers, and maybe they're not traditionally selling any type of cloud to them. And it does, I just wanted to flip it the other way from a vendor perspective. It does open that door because they're coming in with an entire solution to this end customer instead of, hey, I'm just selling whatever, Office 365, or I'm just selling, you know, a Apollo or an info box, right? They're actually going in with, hey, are you aware of the security risk you have right now on your cloud solution? So I feel like it almost changed the channel on how we're working together, right? It's not, hey, I'm selling security all day long, that's my focus, you know, and I think some of us kind of have been in the channel for quite a long time. We know that, like, you're historically just selling laptops, hardware, endpoints, or you're over here in security, or you're here in cloud. I feel like Marketplace is really changing that dynamic and having MSPs and traditional VARs really open their doors to a lot of different markets. And, you know, our customers, our resellers and our end customers they're expecting solutions now. Now, I don't want to go to 5 different providers. I want one person, trusted advisor.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I
that's
think
what
that's
we want them to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that brings it all together, really. I mean, at the end of the day, why should they be doing it? This is the reason. It could open those doors to additional, you know, areas that they haven't explored in the past, and for good reason. They didn't have the ability to, but gives them the ability to do that. And I think when we think about that, that makes it make a lot of sense. And as you said, you know, it's still new. It's still a lot of gray areas. People are trying to figure this out, but you know, the ones that are going to embrace it earlier, embrace that, are going to be the ones who are going to be far ahead of those others later. So, you know, I'd love to see some MSPs start to kind of think that way, like, hey, I want to be the first in on this kind of thing. So, you know, we really appreciate everything that you guys have talked about today, because I think it's just a part of what will come naturally in the near future, right? Because people are buying differently, people are looking at things differently, and we need to adopt and change with that. So, Frank, any thoughts?
You know, the simple, you know, reference there was, like, you know, looking at buying a car or a, you know, any consumer good, right? You know 90% of what you used to go into the store for, right, or into the dealership, you know now ahead of time. So, you know, your buyers of technology are maybe not quite there yet, because it's still a little bit more complicated purchase than a, you know, consumer product. But so what would be, Marcie or Anna, what's a good resource? And again, we'll send some stuff out afterwards, but just for people listening, you know, where can they go? Who should they, what's a good email address or website to check out?
Yeah, so for our team here at TD SYNNEX, you know, can help you get set up and give you information on kind of what the transaction workflow looks like for all 3 hyperscalers. So our email is marketplacesales@tdsynnex.com. So we definitely will send that, and then we can definitely send that with some questions to be asking customers for our MSPs. And yeah, always happy to get more partners.
Email sent out. Is there a good website to go to just to start looking at again, assuming that people are coming in and looking at somewhere to before they make a call, where do they go?
Yeah, we also have a TD SYNNEX AWS microsite that touches on Marketplace and what our capabilities are on there as well. And then we also have like a high growth and a cloud Marketplace SharePoint that has on all of the 3.
So is that oh, go ahead, Marcie.
I was going to say, I will get you out the information, because there's a couple different guides I want to make sure that, you know, our channel has. I kind of referenced them earlier, the Cloud Commit Guide. There's a private offer model guide. There's even, and I don't think we really referenced it on this call today, is a private offer deal desk. It was kind of mentioned, Anna did mention it on, if you have a one-off, you don't see that provider on there, we can do one-offs with you as well. And this walks you through there. So we'll definitely get you those different guides. The other thing I really want to put out to the channel and offer and to the vendors is, if we're not addressing a pain point you're seeing within our values and how we're going to market and what we're doing, give us the feedback, right? Let's work together and figure out how we can make this easier for everyone as well. So always welcome the feedback, but we'll definitely get the website out for all these different guides. And then, like Anna said, it's the marketplacesales@tdsynnex.com.
Okay.
No, that's awesome. And yeah, anybody who's listening, you'll be able to find all that information on nodeware.com/frankly speaking. So if you go to nodeware.com/frankly speaking, we typically will have the links to any of the information that Marcie and Anna want to provide, as well as the link to the video and the recording of this. So you'll be able to kind of check that out there and find additional information. But thank you guys so much for joining us today. I mean, it's been, again, eye-opening. I think it does open the door for so many things. And man, just go out there and be that first in.
Yeah.
I want to see MSPs not sit around and wait for somebody else to do it. Be the one that takes that chance, and then you're teaching everybody else how this actually works. So I'd love to see that from our MSP listeners that are out there. But thank you again so much for your time, guys. And we appreciate you. And until the next episode, have a great one. Take care.